شو بدنا نقول؟ بدنا نقول probably the world's best or by far the world's best. كم مرة بالعالم برمتوا على بريكفاست وفيني أخبركم عني بارم على أوتيلات من الفايف ستارز and all the way down، ولا مرة في هالقد نوعية هالقد كمية. خلينا نبلش بكل التفاصيل. بتبلش مش بس بقديش في أكل، قديش مرتب الأكل، كل انواع الاكل من كل بلدان العالم. and then في عندكم كل الستيشنز you name it they have it. يعني يمكن ناقص شاورما بس بدنا على الترويق. بعدين انت بتقرر ما بدك تقعد بالميت بليس، بالايطاليان بليس، بالكوفي بليس. فانت نحن اليوم تقريبا هون باربع او خمس مطاعم بالداينر، وبنقطع من واحد لواحد. the best food ever, the highest quality ever. ان كان smoked tuna, smoked swordfish, salmon، الفواكه، الخضرة، الفروتس، الكوفي، كلهم بميل. هلا بنحكي عن الاكل، بس الضحكه، الاستقبال، الحنان، الاحساس، المانجرز اللي عم تقطع 10 عيونهم، الشيف اللي عم يقطع على الشيف. يو كانت ايماجين. نحن وين؟ نحن باتلانتس دي رويال بريكفاست فور جيست جايين اليوم تنعيد عيده 41 and I'm so enjoying it مع الشباب. اخذنا صور، فيديوز and so on. It feels good. فإذا أنتم كنتوا بدبي، حتى لو مش قاعدين بالأوتيل، نحن مش قاعدين بالأوتيل، you can come for the experience. It's worth it, big time worth it. شو هالبرفكشن، شو هالجاتو. نزل عجيب. مش عم نعرف انت انا وياه. اوه ماي جاد، واو. دارك شوكليت، كرانشي شوكليت بيتس من برا، سوفت اند سبونجي دو. شو قوي. I'm not sharing. اجا الاكل. looks nice. It's great. pepperoni. كروك مسيو مع جبنة زبدة على الوجه، الفات فيها بعقد، بيضة من جوا منها ناشفة، تركي. Oh, this is good. Really good. Comforting home food. زعتر، حلومي، in pretzel. شو هالاختراع. برافو. Great way to start the day. شيف جوزيف، هيدي مش اول مره التقينا عده مرات. حبيتك من قلبي. خليني احكي دقيقه عنك. خفيف نظيف لذيذ قريب على القلب، مش شايف حاله، بتفهم شغلتك، كله بيركب يلا 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 يلا، ركبوا مع بعضهم، ما فيه فلسفه الصحن، بتعرف مكوناتك، هيدي هون هيدي هون هيدي هون، وما في شيء عملت لي اياه لهلا اكلته مش طيب، وناطرك على الكوع بس مش عم تزبط. صحون حلوه كتير حلوه، كاتلري حلوه، برزنتيشن حلوه، وبتفوت بأداء التفاصيل. ليش المنقوشه عاليه؟ لانه قاعده على ستاند حديد محفور من فوق بيعمل ريفلكشن اسم المحل تحت على الواطي. والمنقوشه اكيد لازم تكون كوين اوف ذا تيبل. منقوشه بيتزا 48 hours مع زعتر جبنه مرشوشه على الوجه بطريقه كتير حلوه. It's a mix and match and a blend of acidity flavor بطريقه كتير جديده. سوبر هوا، وقفتها حلوه. يامي، سوبر يامي. بتعرفوا بندوره مقصوصه صغار، كيوبات كتير حلوه، الزعتر very well done. ساور دو كرانش، بنديكت، هولنديز. طلعوا الصفار كيف عم بيدوب وعم بيروح من وين ما كان. افوكادو توست، كيل، اوف وات ا ميكس. 10/10. اوف واو. فرنش توست، ميبل من ميل، شوكليت من ميل. كل صحن is an experience of its own. ما في طعمة حليب، ما في طعمة زبدة، منا تاشة، سويتنس كتير خفيفة، منا دلعة، خبزة عظيمة. اوف بدي الاقي غلطة بس وحدة. بام اميزنج. بتخبركم قصة مع حبيب بيروت. بلشت القصة من كم سنة، كنت بعدنا جاي على الإمارات. إلي شار لعبالهم يفتحوا مطعم لإلهم. بلش بفكرة بلش بمحل صغير، وإذ بلش تكبر القصة أكتر وأكتر وأكتر. حبيب بيروت يلي شفته عم بيخلق تعلقت فيه. بلشت اجي على الإمارات مرة بالشهر، وكل مرة من المطار على حمص وسمبوسك، من المطار على حمص وسمبوسك، صحن حمص صحن سمبوسك بكلهم مع بعضهم. and then خبزة الكعك سماء سمسم كعكة حمص كعكة حمص and it went on and on and on. fast forward حبيب بيروت كبر، 11 فرع، 15 باخر السنة، 6 بلدان، وبعدنا عم نشوفه عم بيكبر. بعده زيت الكواليتي، زيت التواضع، زيت الاستقبال، زيت السيرفيس، زيت الحمص، زيت التوست، زيت السمبوسك، زيت الكبة and so on and so forth. Lebanese success story in the making. نحن وين اليوم يا خالد؟
رابية الخضراء اليوم الشتوية مشتية الدنيا بدبي خرش بيض مشوي بالكعكة القدسية.
ايوه
شوية فول
ايوه
وحمص فلسطينيين. بما انه الاجواء هلا خرج يعني شتي ولكن مشتية الدنيا، تعال ناكل اطيب بيض مشوي مع فول وحمص، ما مكتر كثير. يلا هيدا فرع جديد فتح، بس شو خدمنا كلياتنا، خدم اكثر شيء اللبنانيه والعرب اجمالا، لانه هي الاريا هي فيها 70 to 80% لبنانيز، جوردانيان، سيريان، فلسطينيان، كل الجنسيات العربيه بأرجان.
الشغل كيف عم ينشغل جوا، ان كان البيض الجبن وكل التفاصيل، انا انبسطت. حسيت انه رح ابلش صح. هيدي جبنه نابلسية. نحن ما عم نعملها،
لا نحن حنروح.
اي فيري نايس فيري نايس. بدك تاكل فلافل وتخبرني؟
بحط عميك فلافل لالي لانه فيها كثير توم. هيدي محشيه بصل.
عم بسمع القرشه لهون.
يا ريت فيك تاكل، يا ريت فيك تاكل. محشيه بصل ومحشيه صنوبر، طيب كثير طيب كثير.
بتذكر عم برجع اتذكر كيف جينا ابو شادي وانا من وقتها، عم نحكي من 3-4 سنين. حبيت الشغل كيف بيشتغلوا جوا، الخبز طازه، الفول مصري مثل ما دقناه بمصر، طحينه، زيت، والدقه اللي بحطوها اللون الاخضر بالاخر. عم تروع حالك. صار لي زمان ما اكلت فول مصري. بيعملوه كتير طري، فول مكسور مبروش صغير بيطلع مثل الكريم، شوية طحينة على الوجه، زيت زيتون. أكتر من هيك تراديشنال واوثنتيك ما في، ما بيصير. حمص مش طيبة، فول طيب كتير ادكتيف، حمصاتهم كريمي مع زيت، ما بيحطوا فيهم توم، حمص اصلي. فيه لدعة سويتنس بالاخر. This is good food. خالد ثانك يو، والله جينا على المحل الصح.
صحتين عن جد. ما بعرف كيف كل واحد بيجي كرمال شيء، انا لهون بيجي كرمال هالقلايه. قلايه بندوره ما حدا بكل تاريخ دبي بيعرف يعمل مثله. شو بدها كمان؟ هيدول منزلهم جداد على المنيو بعد ما دقتهم، هي اول مره بجربهم. جبنه نابلسيه، واو. هي السوريين شاطرين فيها، لنشوف اذا الاردنيين والفلسطينيين ناجحين فيها كمان. سمع القرشة؟
لك صحتين يا خالد.
بدها شوية دبس رمان. تعال هون تعال هون. هف بيض مسلوق، بيض اومليت. كنت عم دور انا على شيء
شو هاي زواج؟
انطوني مطبخهم عن جد فظيع، مطبخهم فظيع. المطبخ الأردني شاطر بشغلة البيض المشوي والبيض المسلوق والبيض ببطاطا والكبدة. ما أكلت كبدة أنت مع الحمص؟
يلا
شوف لي هيدي شو طيبة. روق لك روق ليك الخبزة شو طرية، الكعكة بتجنن. لازم نجربها، صار دورة.
بوكس صمون سواريه، خبزة صغيرة بقلبها كبدة سودا مع كبيس لقم.
منيح خرج حفلات خرج
مية. انتبهت الكيس قديش حلو؟ Very nice presentation. باينة على القد. كوكتيل. تعرف روق هيك نعزم الشباب الليلة قاعدة قدام الماتش، بنحضر هالماتش ويلا لا مش ما تحس. منيح. اول شيء الخبزات صار من اكثر من 10 دقائق على الطاولة وبعدهم ترايا، هيدا اهم شغلة. رفيع ومنهم كتير سماك. بيض وبطاطا مع بعضهم قصة كتير كبيرة. مثل ما قلت من بعده ما حدا يعمل بطاطا. النار كتير قوية، شوية زيت بكب البيض بثواني بيخلصوا. بطاطا مقلية من قبل بكبها بقلبها. This is amazing. فتنا كتير على مطاعم واكلنا اويسترز بياخدوا العقل. اطيب من كتير اويسترز اكلتهم بالعالم. وكنا عم نسال طب وين؟ مي مسقعه وين؟ فهمنا انه هون بالامارات في اويسترز. بدبا باي بالفجيره في اويسترز عم بينحكى فيهم بالعالم، بالحجم، بالشكل، بالطول، بالغمق واكثر بكتير من هيك. قدرنا نوصل تنتعرف على الاونرز وين بيشتغلوا، شو بيعملوا، ومن هون بالفجيره كيف الاويسترز بيروحوا على كل مطاعم الامارات and beyond.
My name is Rami Murray. I'm the founder and CEO of Dibba Bay Oysters. I'm originally from Scotland, but I moved to the UAE when I was 12 years old, so not so long ago. I dye my hair. We're based in northern Fujairah in beautiful Dibba, which I can't wait to show you. We started in 2016. And we hit the market in 2017. Very humble beginnings. I think the first few years we were doing 5,000 oysters a month, 10,000 oysters a month. But I'm very proud to announce that we cracked 500,000 oysters in sales last December. So we've had phenomenal growth. Why oysters? Well, I had a passion to be involved in farming. I don't have a background in farming. I don't have a background in aquaculture. I have an entrepreneurial background. I've always started my own businesses. I saw an opportunity for food production. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard all the stats here in the UAE. We import something crazy like 80% of all the food that we consume. Even seafood, even though we're surrounded by the ocean, we still import 70% plus of the seafood that we consume. So I felt as an entrepreneur there was a great opportunity to get involved A, with farming, and then B, with aquaculture, because we're surrounded by the ocean. There was no aquaculture or very limited aquaculture happening. So I got a positive response from the authorities when I said I want to do this. And what was important for me was if I was going to get into farming, I wanted it to be sustainable, responsible farming. Because you can grow anything you want in this environment if you throw money at it. But that's not necessarily good for the environment. So what I wanted to do was find a species that perhaps hadn't been tried here before that could work in this environment. So I came at it from a very kind of fresh perspective because I didn't study marine biology and I didn't study aquaculture. So I just had a very clean slate, had a look what might work in these conditions, and I identified oysters. And so as it turns out, the species of oysters that we're using accounts for 90% of the world's farmed oysters. So it's a very robust species that can withstand a whole big temperature range. The thing is, it hadn't been done here before, primarily because of sort of historically people thought you could only grow oysters in cold water. It turns out that we've got a very unique environment here because although the water is quite warm, it gets very deep very quickly, so we get an upwelling of cooler water which is full of nutrients and food, which is quite rare that you have this combination. I didn't realize that at the time. I just did a pilot study. So we did a pilot, we did a test, it worked. We went from there. I've then understood since why it worked. And that is the depth of the water and the temperature of the water and the food levels that we have. Oysters that are coming from Europe tend to be quite grey coloured, and our ones are much whiter. This is due to the chemical makeup and the minerals in the water here. Doesn't affect the taste, it's purely aesthetic, but with the beautiful Hajar mountains here that run along the coastline, they're limestone. And so you get that dissolving into the ocean, and you've got high levels of calcite. The oysters then suck up the water and they get the minerals they need to build their shell from their surroundings. And so they have this lovely white color. So that's just unique to our location.
So usually in Europe, you see the persons handling oysters wearing gloves.
Yeah.
So yours are softer than usual?
Well, because we handle them a lot, they don't have so many sharp edges. So they're quite smooth. So here we have a beautiful oyster. See, it's nice and full.
Big?
And you see the muscle here. Some oysters that are coming out of estuaries that haven't been moved around a lot will have a tiny muscle. Whereas we grow them offshore, so they get buffeted around and they're opening and closing a lot. So we get these big muscles. This is the adductor muscle, which closes and opens the shell. This is the same muscle that you would eat from a scallop. So you know, you eat the little module of meat from a scallop, that's the adductor muscle. So it's the same, and so this is very crunchy and full of protein, and this is what gives the real umami levels to an oyster. So there'll be 2 or 3 grams of protein in just one of these oysters. And see, this is the very cool thing about oysters from a culinary point of view. What can we taste? We can taste salt, we can taste sweet, we can taste acidity, and we can taste umami. Umami comes from the protein levels, so we've got a nice high umami level. We've got the natural salinity from the ocean water. We've got a nice fat content. This is glycogen, the fat content, the creaminess that you see here. So that gives sweetness. And so with a well-balanced oyster, you get a nice balance of salt, sweet, umami. The only thing missing is the acidity, which is why you have your traditional squeeze of lemon or a bit of vinaigrette. And so what's wonderful about our oysters is the balance. So we have a beautiful balance between all these different elements, and then we also have a wonderful texture. A lot of people don't like oysters because of the texture. It's all gloopy and like, ours are firm and they have a crunch to them. So for first time oyster triers, they're a great option, but also for the connoisseur, because it's a little bit different.
Impressive! Wow, can it be more detailed than this? Amazing. So, do you clean anything out of it or just turn it around? And that's it?
Yeah, I mean, and that's personal preference. I like to turn it around just to make sure it's loose. There's nothing worse than getting a shucked oyster and trying to eat it and a little bit is still stuck to the shell and like it's...
And some remove the borders or no?
No, you should leave that's the gills on the outside there. No, you should leave that. And then you can tell it's a lovely fresh oyster because the gills are still curling up there.
And you know an oyster is fresh if you put the lemon on and it just...
Yeah, no, there is a bit of that. So an oyster is fresh when it's alive. So if the oyster is shut, it's alive. And so once you open it, that's why you should consume immediately, because it's not alive anymore. That trick you're talking about with the lemon, it can work if you half open it, and then you put a bit of lemon and it's super awake. But the thing is that our oysters we cool them down and they're hibernating. So they're not like super active. So if you warmed them up to room temperature and then opened it and put the lemon, you would get that reaction. So, would you like a try?
Yeah. Well textured.
Yeah.
Like a soft piece of meat.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow, different flavors that come in and out here and there. Something that activates the tongue, something that activates the palate. Sea flavor, saltiness. A feel of protein in a way or another. There's something big, like
exactly like, I'm not comparing it to a piece of meat, but it has that
Yeah.
softness of a rare Wagyu.
Yeah, it has that tenderness.
Yeah.
It's and then of course it sounds almost silly saying this, but you have the ocean freshness. But
Exactly.
you get a lot of oysters that'll have like a metallic aftertaste. They'll have an iodine taste. We don't have that. We just have this very pure, fresh ocean taste.
بدي اخبركم انه حرزينه اتس worth it. درايف an hour and a half. حرزينه تسوق من دبي ساعة ونص. أول شيء المناظر حلوين، الجبال حلوين، الصور على الطريق حلوين، بتوصل لهون الطقس بياخد العقل. Amazing wonderful weather. Amazing outstanding. توصل على هذا الشباك من الساعة 8 للساعة 4 ونص بيستقبلوكم. تشتروا دزينة 2 3 بسعر كتير منيح. From fork to mouth. Not from farm to fork. وبتقعدوا هون على الصخرة بتنبسطوا أو على الطاولة اللي ورا. On the
Tight
table.
tongue.
Yeah, exactly. and you enjoy it. هيدا رح نعمله، رح اخذ دزينه، هيدا هداني اياها. Thank you so much for the gift. رح صير انا افتح الاويسترز تبعي بكل المطاعم، ورح ننبسط وحده وحده بطعمتها، ورح نحكي فيها بتفاصيلها، رح خبركم شو عم بحس، شو شكلها، شو هي المصل اللي بقلبها، وكل الفليفرز. نحن اليوم بديبا باي، الباب مفتوح، فيكم تجوا تتعرفوا على الزلمه العظيم، بيفتحكم، بفوتكم، بفرجيكم، بتشتروا دزينه الاويستر، بتاخذوا الاويسترز تبعكم that would last 3 days، بضاينوا 3 ايام عندكم بالبراد، فيكم تاكلوا اويستر at very affordable price at home every day. It's not only restaurant food, and enjoy it. I'm so excited. Let's have a dozen.
All right.
Morning.
Hi.
Thank you. A dozen oyster ready to be devoured.
We hand pack every box of oysters, and so they're all the right way up, and they all have this branded banding on them.
I wanted to ask you about the bandit.
Yeah.
Why
So
the
this is something quite unique to us, and so by applying this band, what it does is it jams the oyster shut, which helps it stay sleeping. So when we put them in the tanks, we're putting them into hibernation, we're cooling them down, and then we apply the band, and then it means that they don't have to expend energy contracting the muscle to stay closed, so therefore it increases shelf life for us. So it helps with shelf life. Also, if the box gets all shaken up and they get turned upside down or on their side, if they were unbanded, they might open and all the water drains out and then they start to die. So what you are able to do here is you can come and buy a box of oysters from our farm shop, and you can bring it out here and just sit on the picnic bench and open them yourselves, or they can shuck them for you if you're feeling lazy, you know.
It's part of the joy and the adventure of opening, preparing your food.
Yeah.
And it gets easier with time. Done. Remove the water, turn around, lap, and yep.
Yeah.
Do you do a personal tasting every time you taste one? Is it
Yeah.
good?
Yeah.
Muscles, protein,
Yeah.
saltiness.
No, I like to taste them as often as possible.
Anyone's better than others? Any season different?
No, there is a seasonality to them because there's different food in the water at different times of year. This time of year they tend to be the sweetest because they've got quite a high fat content. And then in the summer there's less food in the water, so the fat content goes down, so they get a bit less sweet. But then that also brings out other flavors that are being masked by the sweetness. So
If I want to take them with me abroad, probably a foam box with ice.
Yeah.
Easy?
Yeah.
Goes on the plane?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, that's how we export them. So we'll have them in their wooden boxes, and then we've just got them packed into the styro, and that's how we export.
How do you suggest eating them? Would it be better enjoyed raw, cooking? What would be your...
Me, personally, I'm not that fussy. I like a variety. I eat quite a lot of oysters. So if there's a new sauce or a new way to enjoy them, I'm in. So we have them. We have 6 different types of cooked oysters in our restaurant in Dubai. We use sort of Indian spices or Thai spices. We do traditional French with blue cheese and garlic, and so as long as you don't overcook them.
Let's talk about your restaurant. So you have a shop and a restaurant, and the restaurant serves oysters and other things.
Yes, yeah. So we've got two in Dubai. We've got one in Jumeirah, in Sukim 1 Harbour, and that is our main farm shop. So that there you can go, you can buy oysters for takeaway, take them home. You can order on Deliveroo from there, shucked oysters for takeaway. And we have a limited menu of other items, all local. We're actually very proud. We just won Sustainable Kitchen of the Year GCC at the BBC Good Food Awards just the other night. Perfect. Because all the other ingredients we have in our menu, it's all local. So it's locally grown tomatoes, it's burrata, it's locally baked bread, everything is just from local. Now in other parts of the world, that's not such a big deal. But in the UAE, where the majority of things are imported, it is actually quite a big deal, managing to have your entire menu with local ingredients.
I love the flavor of the sea without having that iodine or iode thing. It feels natural, it tastes natural, and I'm a big fan. You have a new fan, let me tell you, and I'm enjoying it. I'll get better at opening them.
Practice makes perfect. I'll give you a few boxes to take away. You've got your knife. You can practice at home.
Remy, thank you so much for your trust again. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all your time, energy, smile, passion, and everything in between. And if you live in the UAE or anywhere else in the world, know that this amazing country of ours that has welcomed both of us and all of the expats has great things to offer, and we're fans of their produce. I've been to farms of tomatoes, figs, the UAE exports raspberry and so on and so forth, and now oysters, which used to be known as being imported from Europe. Wow. It's breakfast time.
If you're feeling lazy or you're worried about you losing a finger, you can come here and you can actually order shucked oysters from the farm shop, and then we'll serve them up for you.
Getting better at it.
I know you're gonna. This is no judgment on your shucking ability. We're just saying what's also available.
I'm coming all the way from Dubai to taste the famous Dibba oysters, where they come from.
What's unique about our oysters is pretty much the speed of growth. So, as I said, we're using the same species which is used all over the world, which is the Pacific cupped oyster. This oyster was originated from Japan, China area. It was introduced to Europe in the 60s, and it's now the dominant species in Europe. So the main oysters that you get out of France, they're Pacific cupped oysters or Japanese oysters. They can taste and look completely different because oysters are filter feeders, so they are a product of their environment. But the particular species that we're using, in France it'll take at least 3 years to grow to market size. Here we get it in 8 months. So we have a vastly faster growth cycle, so that's an advantage we have. It's also a disadvantage because the oysters grow quickly, but so does everything in the ocean. So the seaweed that clogs the nets, the snails, the crabs, the predators that affect the oysters, they all grow really fast as well. So it's very manual, very intensive process that we have. But by handling the oysters a lot, we can affect the shape of them. So we tumble them, which hardens their shell, and it encourages a nice deep cup. So we have a nice high meat content. It's also a very tender but firm meat because it's not an old animal. It is fairly young, so it's tender, but it's still big because it's grown so fast in these conditions. So we have a lovely benefit of a high meat ratio, a lovely texture, and a beautiful taste.
وهيك بتخلص القصة من فجيرة ساعتين زمان، او اذا بدكم تسوقوا لهونيك بتجوا دغري هون على دبي على جي بي ار وبتاكلوا اويسترز غير شكل. اويستر ديبا باي، بتقعدوا هون على البحر، الهوايات روعة ان كان بالشتاء وان كان بالصيفية. نبيد، الكحول، بيرة anything you want. ومش بس هيك، عندهم سالمون made in UAE من عند بسيلة، وعندهم كمان الاويسترز العظيمين، كل القياسات 2 3 4 البت كونيه، دقت الكبار دقت الاصغر، انبسطت بلوبستر. It was a memorable dinner. بتعرفوا صرت افهم الاويستر، صرت استلذ بالاويستر، صرت افهم ليش عم تعلق او لا، ليش عم بحس باللحمه او لا، ليش في ميت، ليش في بروتين، عم برجع افهم. It was a memorable experience، وان شاء الله تكونوا انتم انبسطتوا من الاول للاخر. وهلا كل مره بتاكلوا اويستر بصيروا تقولوا استرالي، اوروبي، مين، فرنساوي او اماراتي، وانتم بتقرروا اي بتفضلوا. Enjoy it.